A ginger minger. A ginger minger is I don't know why I said that. A ginger minger is a word or a slag, slander that used to get used in children's playgrounds and things like that when someone was ginger haired. Hey, how's it going? And welcome to Whisky Wins with me, Stuart. I also think Jasper's going to be joining us in a minute. Yep, here he is. So today we've got Dailuaine from North Star Spirits. I want to say Spirits, but I don't know if it's just North Star. I think it's Spirits because I'm sure they do like rums and stuff. Anyway, it's 14-year-old, non-chill filtered, no added colouring, 52.5% ABV. Matured in a single, does it say single refill? Bottled from a refill sherry butt. One of 659 bottles. I'm not sure if that makes it single cask. Possibly. It's cask series 015 and it cost me £65 from Dunkeld Whisky Box. If you're ever in Dunkeld, definitely go into the Whisky Box, chat to Will. He's got some fantastic whiskies in there. Quite unique whiskies compared to other shops, not the standard core range stuff. A lot of independent bottle stuff, and it's interesting to see what he usually has. So, how I'm going to review this is slightly different to my normal reviews. We're still going to rate it with the three factors. Would I buy it again? Would I recommend it? And do I think it's worth it? And we'll rate whether it's a Whisky Win or a Whisky Bin. However, I'm going to do it with two glasses. And this isn't because I'm greedy and want to drink more on camera. It's because one has water in it and one doesn't. So yeah, I was just trying to see which one. I'm sure it was the tulip glass that had water, the straight glass. So yeah, we've got water in one, and this idea was suggested to me by Willie. You can usually find him in the comment section, and he's also became a Patreon recently, so thanks a lot, Willie. Yeah, I'm going to get a coin as well, just to cover up the other glass. We've got number 84. Pretty sure this is somebody's. I think it might be Matt's. So we've got Whisky Win and Whisky Bin. So we'll get that on there and we'll decide what this whisky is later. So right down to it, the nose. Yeah, there's wine gums straight away, nice fruity wine gums. I can't escape this cat. It's a powerful dram on the nose. There's damp earth, damp kind of moss. It's like, I'm going to sound a little pompous here, but it's like being in a forest and it's just rained or it's soaking wet, and you've got the wet leaves, the wet earth, the wet trees, just quite a wet forest smell. But it's a little funky, and I want to say there's some ginger spice on the nose as well, possibly go along with the tree element, the forest element. Yeah, like a kind of ginger spice. I'm trying not to clap him too much because he's just getting his hair everywhere, but he's rather excitable at the moment for some reason. We'll get down to the palate and see what the palate has to offer. The palate, it's waxy, it's oily, which is expected from Dailuaine, I believe. It's there's a burst of fruit initially. Can't exactly put my finger on which fruit it is or which fruits that are there, but it's just an explosion of fruits. Quite, yeah, like I said, powerful. Nothing too revealing at the moment. There's a nice cinnamon, sugary sweetness. At work, I've never really had it before other than just cinnamon on its own. At work with rice pudding, they have cinnamon sugar, and there's that taste there. Really sweet, really cinnamony. I don't think that's a word. There's then a contrast to a bitter kind of ground coffee element. So you're getting that overly, I wouldn't say overly sweet, but real sweet cinnamon sugar element, and then the bitter coffee sort of draws you back, brings the bitterness together and holds it all together really well. The finish is probably quite long. I think it's long. Let me just get a little bit more. I don't think it's maybe medium too long. It's not short at all, but I think the oily, waxy feel really helps carry and lengthen the finish. There's a little bit of dark chocolate there, more bitterness to go with the ground coffee. It's earthy again. There's tobacco leaf, there's ginger stem. It's a little kind of herbally. I'm trying to think if it would be a specific. I don't really want to say herbaceous in that sense, but just, yeah, a bit herbal, possibly something like fresh green herbs, but I can't really think of a specific herb, and now I'm covered in hair. So without the water, it's an extraordinary dram. It's quite tasty. There's a lot going on, a nice kind of sweet, bitter contrast. So we'll see what it's like with the water. I should probably finish that, but I'll finish it off camera, and we'll get the water one in and see what the water's like. So we'll see if the nose has changed at all. There's a cherry Bakewell tart on the nose now. I feel like that's the fruit that I couldn't quite get on the nose initially. The earthiness has subsided a little, and it's a lot sweeter in the nose with the water. The water seems to have separated the oils as it would and open up for a more sweeter experience. The palate with the water. So the palate with the water has brought a crusty, or maybe not crusty, but I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. A Chelsea bun with almonds cooked through and coated with cinnamon. Something like that. That's the way I'm going to describe it. I'm pretty sure Chelsea buns are traditionally raisins and kind of icing sugar and things. And I'm not sure they generally have cinnamon in it, but this is more of a Chelsea bun with almonds and cinnamon. That's all I can describe. The finish is pretty much much or less the same with the water. Maybe a little dulled down, maybe a little shorter with the water, not as long. The water's just helped the reduced ABV, obviously, and yeah, it feels like it's shortened it. So with and without the water, it was a great experiment. That was quite good having the water aside. I mean, the glasses have been sitting for about 15 minutes prior to the review anyway. I believe I prefer it without the water. Surprise, surprise. But with the water, it's quite nice, quite an experience. It's quite interesting to see the similarities between the two and the differences with and without water. I'm just going to read the tasting notes, see what they've got on here. So nose, black cherry and treacle. Yeah, I think I got the kind of cherry Bakewell, but I don't think I got treacle. There was a sweetness with the water, but I wouldn't have said treacle. Palate, waxy cinnamon, yeah, waxy for sure. The cinnamon, yeah. Freshly baked croissant, freshly baked croissant. Yeah, I suppose that could go with my Chelsea bun in a sense, but I wouldn't have said, yeah, maybe, croissant's a lot different, I suppose. Chelsea buns are quite stodgy, whereas croissant's more thin and airy. So similar but not. The finish, ginger snaps dunked in your black coffee. So yeah, I think we got the ginger element throughout. It is quite a gingery dram. It's a Gingerminger. A Gingerminger is, I don't know why I said that. A Gingerminger is a word or a slag, slander that used to get used in children's playgrounds and things like that when someone was ginger hair, calling them a minger. But no, yeah, Gingerminger. It's a ginger ninja, it's a ginger whiskey, it's a ginger warrior. Yeah, it's interesting, it's nice. What else was on the finish? The ground coffee, yeah, I think I got the coffee throughout. Really great dram. £65 cheap for what you're getting. A 14-year-old, non-chill filtered, no added colouring, 52.5%. It's a lot of whiskey for £65. So I think it's worth it, definitely. I would recommend trying it. It's worth the try. I believe it's still available in Royal Mill Whiskies. It's still available in Dunkeld Whisky Shop. I'm not sure if it's Good Spirits still have it, but there's a lot of places that still have this, and I would suggest snapping it up. It's an overlooked distillery, but it's great. This whiskey's great. Would I buy it again? So I think now that I've had it, it's good, but if I was to choose between this Dailuaine and the 15-year-old from Cadenhead, I reckon I'd be more inclined to buy the 15-year-old from Cadenhead, just because it feels like it's got more of the spirit. It's a lot more spirit driven, whereas this is a little bit masked by the sherry butt, although it's a refill sherry butt. It's a little bit masked, but you still get some distillery characters through there, and you still get a lot of appreciation for the whiskey without a powerful dominated sherry aspect. So yeah, 2 out of 3. It's a whiskey win. Although I wouldn't buy it again, I'd probably buy the Dailuaine 15 again. This is still a great whiskey, and I suggest you try it. So yeah, that's been the review. Thanks for watching. I've been Stuart. This has been Whisky Wins. I'll see you later.